Hello, how are you today? This is going to be super fun.
Now I feel really excited for it.
Yeah. I like talking about dandelion. Pissenlit.
Pissenlit. Wow, you said that really well. I'm impressed.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Herbs with Rosalee podcast, a show exploring how herbs heal as medicine, as food, and through nature connection. In this episode, we're diving into the world of dandelions with my good friend Mason Hutchison of HerbRally. Mason went all out for this episode. He showed up with an armful of dandelion potions, some familiar and one that completely surprised me. I love that even after decades of working with this plant, it still has new gifts to share. This conversation is fun, it's inspiring, it's brimming with dandelion love, and I can't wait for you to join us. By the way, if you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to me if you hit the thumbs up button. It really helps other plant lovers find this video too. And be sure to stick around to the very end for your herbal tidbit, where I share how dandelions are literally expanding our understanding of physics. Welcome back to the show, Mason.
Thanks, it's an honor to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me back.
It's a pleasure. So I've been thinking how to start this one, and I think probably the most obvious place to start is to set the stage. Folks watching know things are a little different, but if you're listening, you might not know that we are in person.
That's right.
Yeah, this is first time for me. This is like old hat for you. You do this all the time, in-person interviews.
I love the in-person interviews.
Yeah.
You really get to feel the energy of the guest, and this time I get to be the guest, so it's super fun.
Yeah. So we're in person. We're in Salem, Oregon, and we've been on this kind of epic road trip. It's been Mason, me, and his awesome daughter, Amelia, who is actually behind the camera right now.
Shout out, Amelia.
And we started off in Spokane, Washington, and went to see Rainbow Kitten Surprise.
Epic.
Yeah, cool band I taught you about.
Yeah, something like that.
I think Mason felt bad because he only thought that I listened to Tori all the time, which is a weird thing for him to think. But he was trying to get my musical taste a little bit wider. So he mentioned Rainbow Kitten Surprise, and I've been listening to them constantly. So it was fun to go to the concert, the three of us.
Yeah, it was magical.
It really was.
They really put on a show.
Yeah, it was great. Then we went down to Hood River, saw my honorary family there, chosen family. My niece Lulu was having her bar mitzvah, so that was an amazing thing to see her down there.
Yeah.
And then we came to Salem. So here we are, in person. We got this.
Heck yeah, this will be a lot of fun.
I'm nervous, excited.
Yeah, same.
Mostly excited, but just I've never done it in person before.
Well,
so.
we've been talking about this for a while.
Oh yeah, this has been months in the making, actually.
Totally.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to be here. I'm honored again, that I get to be the first in-person interview. Hopefully, many more for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of in the plan, so we'll see.
Cool. All right.
Well, last time you were on, Mason, was a couple years ago. We talked about oats. Highly recommend the episode if you haven't listened in already, or listened to it for a second time. Third, fourth, that's cool too. So last time you talked about your origin story, your plant path, and just to recap that, you talked about, you kind of had an entryway through nutrition, and you went to a couple herbal schools. You're at Columbine's with Howie Brownstein, Arctos with Missy Rose.
And Grady Proctor.
Yep. And so we got to hear about that and just kind of your journey through all of that. So I thought this time we'd go into some new territory.
Sure.
And since I kind of like the origin story for the beginning, I thought we could do origin story of HerbRally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
Cool.
So yeah, basically what happened was I was the events and outreach coordinator for Mountain Rose Herbs. I probably mentioned that in the last episode. And I noticed that there were no websites that talked about what events were happening in the herbal community. Now, granted, I want to say the American Herbalist Guild would list a few of the conferences that happened, random events here and there, and then other websites kind of did the same thing. And my idea was to kind of combine everything that was happening. The goal is for it to be all over the world, but even then, that's quite the undertaking, as you'd imagine. So I started with the United States, and it turns out there's a lot of herbalism happening all over the states. As I started becoming more and more into herbalism, I would attend these little plant walks that were happening at Mount Pisgah in Eugene. I would go to these one-off classes at Tsunami Books in Eugene, Oregon. I remember I went and saw Corey Pineshane there. That was one of my first herbalism lectures that I went to way back in the day. I was like, this has to be happening all over the country. Sure enough, it was. I started subscribing to a ton of newsletters when I was the events person for Mountain Rose Herbs. And I was like, I should start a website where I just start listing all of these events and helping other people find what's happening in their neck of the woods, as we like to say at HerbRally. And yeah, so really it just started out as this list. And have you ever heard of the website where you could go, it's like the Wayback Machine, you could see what the first iteration of your website was?
No.
It's really fun. I don't remember the exact URL for it, but anyways, go back and look at HerbRally's early days. It's kind of embarrassing. But that's what they say. If you're not embarrassed by the first iteration of your project, you're not progressing enough. So all that aside, basically it just started with this passion project where I just wanted to share everything that was, I was creating the website that I wished to see exist in the world. And with a lot of the projects in my life, I sat on the idea forever, like probably literal years. And then finally I was like, I should at least come up with a name for it. And I was like, herbalismevents.com. Now that sounds good. And I was like, there's got to be a better name for it. HerbRally actually just came to my head one day.
I love that.
And I was so excited about that because rally almost has like this rah feel to it.
Gives a good vibe.
Yeah. And I liked the juxtaposition. A lot of times people will spell HerbRally 2 words, but really it's like one word. And now talking about the name quite a bit, that's maybe not that interesting. But anyways, I sat on the name forever, and then I bought the domain, and I probably waited a whole nother year before I finally took the plunge. I think I was having some like imposter syndrome, or a synonym for that is insecurity. But finally I was just like, I got to start this website. So I did. And yeah, I just started listing the events, and I was like, this is a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And then that's when all these other ideas started happening. I think the second thing we started doing was I would pay some of my herbalist friends to write monographs. You wrote a monograph early on, hops. So yeah, then we started doing actually it was events. Then we started listing all the herbalism schools, and then monographs, and then HerbRally just kind of started building organically and growing and evolving. And one day I was like, I'm going to have the audacity to start a podcast. But I was scared shitless to be a host, so I kind of did the same thing. I would ask my herbalist friends if they wanted to, submit like just lectures for the podcast. And I would publish various like conference recordings from different conferences that were happening around, and just kind of grew. I could go on and on, but
You did
I need
hundreds
to take a
of
breath.
episodes like that. Like these,
Totally.
Yeah.
Literal hundreds.
What year did the podcast start?
So HerbRally started in 2015.
Okay.
Like that's when it started. So HerbRally is 10 years old now, which
Congrats.
is amazing. I can't believe it.
Yeah.
And the podcast started in 2017.
Oh, wow.
So 8 years ago, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. 906 episodes.
Wow.
Granted, some of the episodes are, people say, how long do you want the podcast episode to be? I'm like, 60 seconds to 3.5 hours. Totally good. So, which is a little vague. So there's like short mini episodes, but all in all, we've hit publish 906 times at this moment in time.
Wow. Something I've loved about HerbRally, because I feel like I've been there since the beginning.
Yeah, you really have.
And I've loved to see it grow. And I like being your friend. I get to hear about your ideas, and like your ideas they like kind of keep coming, and things keep growing. At what point did Schoolhouse come into the mix?
Oh, the HerbRally Schoolhouse? Yeah. So, oh my gosh, I probably should have researched this. I would probably say 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of a similar idea. Everything about HerbRally is about building herbal community. So Schoolhouse is no different. It's just a bunch of my friends, my teacher, different herbalist teachers, providing classes on various topics. But it's behind a paywall, so it's a membership area, $10 a month. It's one of the ways we help keep the lights on at HerbRally. So thank you to all the HerbRally Schoolhouse members. It's a huge support to us.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Rosalee. You're a member.
I am a member.
I hear you're going to be coming out with a class soon. In the Schoolhouse
You have the
too.
inside track on that.
I do. I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Hey friends, it's Rosalee. If you've been nourished by this podcast, if it's helped you feel more connected to the plants or more grounded in your own herbal path, then I'd love to invite you to join the Herbs with Rosalee podcast circle. This special membership helps make the podcast possible. It supports everything we do behind the scenes, and it gives you a chance to go even deeper with the content that you love. Inside the circle, you'll get exclusive herbal resources, live classes each season with some of my favorite herbal teachers, and a private space to connect with fellow plant lovers. It's where the heart of our herbal community continues to grow. To learn more and join us, visit herbalpodcastcircle.com. Your support means the world, and it helps this podcast continue to bloom. I love how you said, it's about building community at HerbRally. And I saw that recently with your Nourishing Herbal Infusions challenge. That was really cool. And that was just like, you woke up one day with this idea, basically. Yeah. Well, you'd been thinking about it for a while, you said, but then all of a sudden you just put it into action. Yeah. And that was cool. Do you want to talk about that? Or
sure.
I can talk about it.
Sure. Well, actually, I would like to hear your perspective on it. Do you want me to go first, though?
Yeah, you can go first.
So basically what happened was I had this... So I drink Nourishing Herbal Infusions. I say every day, but that's kind of a lie. It's not every day. It's definitely at least a few times a week. I try to do it every day. And I just thought it'd be fun to do this thing where I shared what herbal infusion I was drinking that day. Sometimes I kind of showed how I do it, different tips and tricks, and just kind of keep myself accountable. I'm big on accountability buddy, since you're my accountability, I should say. But yeah. So I was like, I'll keep myself accountable by making it every day, by putting it on the internet. And then hopefully the byproduct of that would be other people would be inspired to do it every day as well, because I truly think it's one of the cheapest, easiest ways to nourish yourself. I notice the difference when like I said, take it daily, but I notice the difference when I don't consume these Nourishing Herbal Infusions. So yeah, lots of oat straw, lots of linden, lots of raspberry leaf, hawthorn leaf and flower, nettle. I like to rotate it. But yeah, that's kind of how the project started. And I'll say before I did it, just like starting HerbRally, I was so nervous to do it. I was like, why on earth would anybody want to see me drink a Nourishing Herbal Infusion every single day? It seemed very silly, but the feedback was kind of what I was hoping for and not necessarily expecting. But a lot of people were commenting, "Thanks, Mason. This is helping keeping me going." Because I have this tendency to get overly enthused about projects. I was like, I'm literally going to do this for the rest of my life. I'm never going to stop. I'm just going to post every single day until I'm old and gray. Then I realized how much work it actually was. Amelia can attest to that. She helped me edit and record some of them. So yeah, it was a lot of work. What I thought might be 15 minutes per day ended up being maybe an hour a day. And I'm trying to focus on some other projects. As a solo person, yeah, it's kind of difficult. But
yeah. Well, it was really fun. I loved, again, that you brought in other folks too. You put a call out, hey, if you want to do a video, you can do it too.
Yeah.
And told people to promote it wasn't people were doing your work. You were come promote your stuff.
Totally.
Come be a part of it, which I just always love that you're always garnering community, building community, calling your friends in and stuff. It just, it's a cool thing that HerbRally manifests that community building.
Yeah, it's hilarious because I didn't even anticipate that. And as you know, because I was talking to you about it behind the scenes, I started and then all these other ideas started coming in. So I should have known that it would have turned into a community endeavor, but I didn't see that happening. And then probably within the first, 5 days, you made a video as well. So that was cool. It's always fun to involve the herbal community in basically everything I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. It was not my comfort zone.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of just getting going. By the way, follow Rosalee on TikTok. She's at Rosalee De La Foray. Yeah, you're doing some awesome things on there.
Thank you.
Yeah.
From your inspiration, really. I wouldn't be doing it without you. So.
Thanks.
Anything else about HerbRally?
Yeah, well, you did mention the schoolhouse. I guess I'll just say it right at the top. I kind of forgot to mention this, but you could get your first 30 days for free. If you want to see behind the scenes, you could use coupon code Rosalee at checkout at herbrally.com/schoolhouse. If you just kind of want to, see what's behind the scenes happening there and check out all the other offerings.
Yeah, you have so many awesome teachers there. Really cool stuff.
Thanks.
So highly recommend.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah. Well, let's dive into your chosen herb today. I'm so excited because dandelion is one of your favorite herbs, as I know, and it's one of my favorite herbs too. So I'm excited. I know you've got a bunch of goodies for us. And, yeah. So where would you like to start with dandelion?
Yeah, you said I brought a lot of goodies. That's another like perk of doing these in-person interviews is you kind of get a freestyle little bit more. I think you could probably do something similar on Zoom, but I don't know. The fact that we get to share some of this dandelion medicine, if you will, in person is, I think, extra special. But yeah, I think the first place I would start would be a story.
Cool.
So I don't know if I've told you this, but maybe you've heard it. I know I've said it elsewhere before, but when I was a young lad, I was a bit of a troubled child, a bit of a troublemaker. And I remember just biking around. I don't know, maybe I was like 8 years old, but I'd be biking around the neighborhood and I'd see like dandelion in its seed form. And I would get off my bike and I would like rip off the dandelion. I'd start blowing the seeds everywhere with the ill intent of, spreading weeds to other people's yards. Have you heard this before?
I have heard.
Okay, yeah. And it's just funny because it feels like a nefarious act, but in reality, I think it might have been a little foreshadowing, for what was to come.
I like how you like maintain the integrity of that story. You're not like, and then I just thought, wouldn't it be lovely if there's dandelions? You're like, no, I was like, let's spread these with a malicious intent.
And I wonder what that was. I have no idea. We could get really spiritual about it, but no, it definitely wasn't for spreading herbal goodness at the time. But I do like the story though because it shows like an early relationship with plants in some way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. So yeah, going from 8-year-old Mason, fast forward, as you kind of mentioned, as I mentioned in my first episode, I got into herbalism by way of my interest in like nutrition and health and wellness and all that. And I was probably like 19 or 20 when I was having a party more or less at my house over on campus in Eugene, Oregon. And I was hanging out with some of my friends, and my friend Phil was there. And I knew Phil was like he hunts, he fishes, but I didn't know he like dabbled in wild edibles. I did not know that side of him. And we were in the front yard, and he looks down and he says, "That's dandelion," which, I think we kind of all knew what dandelion was at the time. But he goes, "Did you know you can eat it?" And it was, oh, I'm getting goosebumps. See that?
Yeah, you're there.
And that just completely changed the way I look at the world. I truly think that was like one of my main gateways into herbalism. I call it my gateway herb, actually. I call dandelion my gateway herb specifically because of that story. The very fact that you can just nibble on this wild plant that grows all over, best believe right then and there I took a bite of it because I've always been kind of an adventurous eater. So just a couple brief little stories about the early days.
Yeah, so dandelion's been calling you on this path from a very young age.
I think so.
Yeah. Almost feels like that's dandelion's role. Like I know a lot of people who like were told, did you know you can eat that? And it changed their lives.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's even in the HerbRally logo.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people maybe use like the dandelion like flower and the whole plant, but like I just kind of chose the leaf. But yeah, it's been hugely influential, and I'm so grateful for that moment. I love dandelion. I even got it tattooed on my arm.
I got it on my leg. So.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think dandelion. I wonder what the most tattooed herbs are. I always think like yarrow's up there, but also an Asteraceae. But we'll get into the botany.
Okay.
So I think the botany is the next place that I want to go with this. If that sounds good. All right, cool. So basically, I guess we could start from the bottom. And unfortunately, so we're recording this in August. All I saw out there was Hypocaris radicata. It's close cousin, sometimes called false dandelion, the cat's ear. So we're recording this in August. We don't have a nice live plant to kind of be able to talk about. Maybe we could throw in some B-roll. I don't know. But the dandelion, starting from the bottom, we got a taproot. So I think maybe what we could do is kind of go through the botanical characteristics, and then later we could talk about the edibility and certain medicinal uses. Okay. So we'll start at the taproot, which my understanding is basically just like one straight root that goes, I don't know. Down. Yeah. And then you have a what's called a basal rosette of leaves, which I think basically just means you got like one bunch of leaves that starts at the center and spreads out. Does that sound right?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Good.
And the leaves are going to be smoother in nature. So one of the nicknames of dandelion is dandelion. Actually, one of the things I wanted to do to start the episode, which I forgot, was to say some of the many different nicknames of dandelion.
Cool, let's hear 'em.
And this is Brigitte Mars's awesome book, Dandelion Medicine. And one of the medicinal values of dandelion is it makes great bookmarks. So, so dandelion has a lot of nicknames: amarga, bitterwort, blowball, cankerwort, chicoria, which sounds kind of like chicory almost.
Yeah.
Clockflower, consuelda, dune head clock, fairy clock, and there's many more. I could go on and on and on, but yeah. So one of the nicknames is Dandelion. Is that French also?
Mm-hmm. It is,
So
yeah.
it's pissenlit,
Yep.
which I think more refers to the dandelion leaf. Maybe.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Piss the bed.
Yeah.
How was my French?
It's pretty good, actually.
All right,
Yeah.
sweet. So we were talking about the botanical characteristics of the dandelion leaf, and it's kind of got those jagged leaf shape, which looks like the tooth of a lion. Anything else you want to say about the dandelion leaf?
No, that's good.
All right, cool.
Well, you already mentioned the smoothness of it, but that's like an
Smoothness.
identification thing. Like, people often are like, oh, is this dandelion? If there's like prickles on the bottom,
Yeah.
like prickles on the underneath vein, or if it's hairy.
Totally.
Not dandelion.
Yeah, and typically, at least around here in the Pacific Northwest, that's going to be its cousin cat's ear, Hypocaris radicata. But another distinguishing feature is the one stem, whereas again, like a lot of the lookalikes will have like the multiple stems off of stems.
Mm-hmm. One stem per flower.
One stem per. Thank you. Yes, exactly. So like the cat's ear will have a bunch of different flowers, and I can't tell you how many times I've been walking around. People are like, that's dandelion.
Yep.
I'm like, it's not dandelion.
Yeah. Because the flower looks the exact same.
Totally.
Like, if you took just the two top flower heads and put
Yeah.
them side to side, you would probably not be able to tell the difference.
Yeah. You know what's funny? So I'm very colorblind, and I don't know if it's just me making this up because I know what dandelion and then cat's ear looks like, but I almost noticed like a distinct difference slightly in the color of dandelion flowers.
Interesting.
Yeah. We could test me on that at some point, but
I feel like I could be tested on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel like there's a slight difference, but not 100%. But I'm going to quiz the audience.
Okay.
Okay. So if you're looking at a dandelion and you see the flower head, I'm going to say, how many flowers are there? And it kind of sounds like a trick question, right? Do you know the answer?
I do.
Okay.
Phew.
So a lot of people will look at it and be like, that's a really pretty singular dandelion flower. But in reality, it's in the Asteraceae, formerly known as the Compositae family. And basically, one of the distinguishing characteristics of that plant family is it's many flowers packed into a head. So if I'm recalling correctly, when you look at the single dandelion flower, it's actually like 150 to 200 flowers or florets packed into a head. So really, you're looking at like hundreds of tiny little flowers.
Yeah.
Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Cool.
I was going to say 300, but I was like
Really?
guessing. I was just guessing. But a lot.
For
I meant
sure.
300
A
meters.
shitload,
Yeah.
perhaps. Okay. Yeah, so that's fun. And I remember first hearing, like when I took Columbine School of Botanical Studies, when I first learned about that blew me away. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many flowers in this one plant. It's so cool. But yeah, it's pretty magical like that.
Yeah.
So we went over some of the botanical characteristics, and we kind of talked a little bit about some of the lookalikes. I'll talk maybe a little bit more about like the safety and precautions later on, but I did kind of want to bring up, once you start developing a relationship with these plants, you'll notice the difference between dandelion and cat's ear. Like you just know it. And it's one of my favorite parts about going out in the woods, building relationships with these plants. You just start to notice the differences, and slowly but surely, being in nature, being in the woods, it no longer becomes a wall of green. And I think it's one of my favorite parts about like learning the botanical characteristics of various plants. So I just wanted to mention that. Botany's fun.
Yeah.
I guess there's a lot to botany, more than just that. But yeah, so did you have anything you wanted to add about any of that?
No, it's fantastic.
Cool.
I'll echo the like wall of green. Like that was like one of the most transformative aspects of becoming an herbalist for me too.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like botany light. Like I'm not gonna take out hitchhocks, and like
Yeah.
key out things to the very
Sure.
fine tune. But like to know the basics is really really helpful and really does help you see individual characteristics and get you to know the plants a little bit better.
Man, I love having herbalist friends too, because I was just down in Eugene hanging out with Nick. Shout out Nick, and he still to this day will bust out the Hitchcock and identify different plants and stuff. Like, dude, you're awesome. Okay, cool. Well, we could delve into some of the medicinal, edible virtues of the dandelion if you want. And again, I think we'll start with the root and kind of work our way up. And thanks for preparing a couple different beverages for us.
Yeah, cheers.
So, as part of this episode, Rosalee provided an awesome dandelion chai. I know a lot of times your guests bring forth the recipe, so thanks for taking care of that for me. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the chai, and then we could try it out?
Sure. Yeah, this is a recipe. Yeah, it's that one. It's a new recipe I haven't shared before. I made it for the first time last winter solstice, and I made it for a huge party. Cheers, my friend.
Ooh, that's nice. It's earthy and spicy.
Yeah, earthy, that's good, yeah. And kind of creamy. I like the creaminess of it. Yes, I made it for winter solstice for a party. Made a huge batch of it, and so for the recipe that you all are getting, you can make this amount for 2 people, or I included like the party amounts because it's a really fun one. I felt like I was really popular at that party because of the tea. I got a lot of compliments on it. I make it with oat milk, so it's just like really creamy. It's just a little bit sweet, but not overly, I don't think.
Yeah.
And it's got all your it's got your roasted dandelion, roasted chicory, and then it's got all the favorite spices like ginger and cardamom, allspice, cloves, star anise, maybe some others. You all will get the recipe. So if I forgot anything in there.
Totally.
I put a touch of honey in there. The oat milk already makes it I was unsweetened oat milk, but it still kind of brings in some sweetness to it. So.
Okay, so how do folks get access to the recipe?
They can go to herbswithrosaleepodcast.com, get it there. Just check out the show notes. It'll be there as well.
Cool. Did you put medicinal mushrooms in here? Or
I did not in this one.
Okay,
yeah.
cool. Gotcha. Cool.
But I often do.
It is delicious. I'm not just saying that because you're right next to me. But
Sure.
No, it's wonderful. It's really good. Nils, you got to try this after the show. Yeah. I guess it'd be a nice transition.
I can tell how much you loved it because of how much you drank it.
Well, we got many other beverages to try. Just you wait.
Okay.
You want to try the Dandy Blend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I trade you?
Yep. Okay. So, dandelion coffee, very popular recipe. And I know, okay, so this is Dandy Blend. Shockingly, I've been in the herbal community for like 20 years and I've never had Dandy Blend.
I was literally shocked, folks. Like he said something and I was like, wait, have you never had Dandy Blend? And he said, never in his life. And it was a jaw-dropping moment for me. I drink this, like, especially during the winter, almost every day. It's the lazy person's way of dandelion.
It's kind of like an instant coffee.
I'm not ashamed. Yeah. I like it.
But it's got dandelion, chicory. I don't know if there's anything else in there, but I could look at the ingredients. But this is not a sponsored ad, but it is kind of a herbal community staple, and it's been around for a long time.
Cheers.
Cheers. And so what I like to do, I'm a big fan of New Orleans, and so there's this place called Café du Monde, and they're famous for selling half coffee, half chicory root powder. And what I like to do is I like to buy their tin, their beautiful yellow tin, and then I buy my own like organic. I'll probably consume it. I don't just dump out their stuff, but I like to buy like organic, nice high quality organic coffee, and then with halfway full, and then halfway full I'll fill it up with roast chicory root, dandelion root powder, roast dandelion root powder, and stuff like that. But yeah, I think part of the reason I never had Dandy Blend was because I worked at Mountain Rose Herbs forever, and they had a roast or a dandelion coffee. So, but that's my excuse.
Yeah,
but
it's just they just make it so easy.
Totally.
It's just the powder that you put in hot water.
Oh, I'll be a customer for sure from now on.
I love this hot. I love it cold. And did Xavier, my husband, did he make that for you? Dandy Blend ice cream? Did we talk about that?
Okay, so I guess I have had.
You haven't? Yeah.
Just in ice cream form.
Yeah. So he makes like a coconut milk dandelion. Dandy Blend.
It's quite good. So dandelion root. There's lots of things you can do with it. I feel like the most stereotypical answer is coffee substitute, but actually, in one of your books. Okay, so An Alchemy of Herbs by best-selling author Rosalee de la Forêt. Rosalee's got a dandelion root vinegar. So one of the beautiful things about herbalism is you could just experiment and make all sorts of fun concoctions. And I haven't made this, but I just wanted to point out that lots of herbalists get super creative. Is there anything you want to say about the dandelion root vinegar?
I've made countless quarts of this. It's one of my favorite ways because the root is so nutritive, and then the vinegar is really great at pulling out minerals. And it has a pretty, like the root doesn't have a super strong bitter taste, and so the vinegar is quite pleasant. And then what we do is we make that, and then we use that as the basis of our salad dressing. So it's just this kind of like cool way to engage with dandelion in a nutritive way.
Cool. Yeah, I want to say David Winston calls dandelion root his favorite liver tonic, which that's pretty high praise.
Yeah.
Actually, and I want to say I heard Brigitte Mars say Taraxacum officinale, which is the Latin name. I think I heard her say, when I interviewed her, it's the official remedy of the disorder. Have you heard that before?
I've not heard that before.
Yeah, I just randomly popped in my brain. I figured I'd say that. But
Can we circle back to something?
Sure.
Something popped in my head. So you said David said that dandelion root is one of his favorite liver tonics.
Yeah.
So I was in class like many years ago, I'm going to say 20 years ago, with an herbalist whose name I'm not going to say.
Oh, yeah.
But, and it was like a liver herbs class. And we went through all these different liver herbs, and we get to the end of it, and then it's over. And I was like, you didn't mention dandelion.
Oh, yeah.
And the teacher said, oh, well, yeah, it's just like so common and like, just like totally dismissed dandelion.
Yeah.
And I remember like just feeling really bad on behalf of dandelion in that moment. And also just like, I also think it's one of our best. Like just because it's common, just because it's a weed, just because everyone knows about it doesn't make it any less special.
Yeah. Sometimes I wonder if dandelion was like this rare, like alpine plant that you only saw. It was the exact same plant, but it was just rare. It'd be sexier to people.
Maybe. How lucky we are.
I know.
It's
abundant, and that should be, can be one of the medicines we use. So I don't know about should be, but I also wanted to say, I struggled with like acne when I was a teenager, and I've read like dandelion root can be a part of that protocol, but that's like the key word there. It could be a part of it. Like obviously you still have to have a holistic approach, because every time I like say I take a class with Paul Bergner, this is one of my favorite things. Like he'll go in depth on all these different case studies, and he'll go in depth on the science of herbs and all that. But then the thesis at the end is always sleep, nutrition, exercise, which I always find hilarious. I'm like, okay, that's so good. Like that's how it should be approached. So if you do want to use dandelion root for any number of reasons, always approach it in a holistic manner.
Sure,
Yeah.
I do love it for the liver. And like you said, like for so often our skin issues originate in the liver, sluggishness in the body. Like it's just showing up on the skin, but it's not necessarily where the issue is.
Yeah.
And so it's so lovely for that. And it works so well. Interesting thing with skin is it'll often make things worse before it gets better, because it's kind of like, it's kind of like pushing things out. It's kind of like getting it out. So I always like to give that caution, especially with skin stuff, because it can be so like, I don't know, it's going to be a very vulnerable thing to have a skin issue since we show that to the world.
Absolutely.
So it's good to even go like slow with it, instead of like heavy at first. Just kind of go slow, see how things go, get things moving through your body, etc.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons David was saying that he likes dandelion so much, because he talks about it as like a tonic. It's gentle, use it for a long time. I could be misquoting him, I don't know, but he was comparing it to like say maybe potentially stronger liver herbs, like would you say milk thistle or schisandra or something like that, or
I think of like stronger ones like blue purum or Oregon grape or
gotcha.
Kind of next level bitter maybe.
Totally. So let's see what's after the root. If you move up, it'd probably be the leaves.
Sure.
So I actually brought some dandelion leaves from a grocery store, and Rosalee, guess what?
What?
This isn't dandelion leaves. You were trying to convince me. Actually, it was the reverse. Rosalee taught me that if you buy organic dandelion leaves from a grocery store, it's most likely chicory. And I called BS on it, and she was right. I looked it up. So.
Yeah. I looked it up too.
Okay.
Because you called BS on it, and I was like, yeah, I knew I was right. I wasn't going to tell you, though. I was going to let you live the dream.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though. What are they called at the store?
Dandelion.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. I have to imagine.
As far as I'm concerned, they're dandelions.
Yeah, they still have great bitterness to them. There's probably a lot of similar medicinal, nutritional value to them.
Actually, those red stems, I mean, you got like more anthocyanins in there.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. So
we've been putting this in our salads. We love the super salad. So when we're together, we just make these like super salads, and we've been putting them in there. It's delicious.
You want to try a bite?
Sure, yeah.
Cool.
Always.
So hopefully the mic picks up our chewing sounds. Little dandelion ASMR.
Today, Mason told me that taste is a really important part of herbal medicine. Someone will find that funny, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's bitter.
Such a perfect salad green. Or pesto. This is hands down my favorite pesto.
Is there a time of year you think's best to harvest the dandelion greens? That's kind of a rhetorical question. I know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for eating them, the spring is going to be the best.
Okay.
Because they're just a little bit less bitter, and it's not only like less bitter. Like the bitter has a freshness to it that just seems like in a really good way. But also, like as the dandelion greens get older, they can get really tough too. So it's like both like a palatability, mouthfeel, and a taste thing.
Yeah.
But sometimes you'll get fresh growth in the winter or in like the fall too. So it's just kind of like, it's really just like, how do the leaves taste? Are they tender?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. I'm kind of nervous I'm going to have like green leaves in my teeth now.
Yeah, maybe we should just save that for the end of the episode.
I am good. I'll let you know if I see anything for you.
You're good so far. Well, this is the part of the show where we're going to try dandelion leaf infusion.
Oh.
So prepare yourself. You could rinse off those leaves that you have going on. So,
you've been really excited. I want to tell people he's been very excited for this. I'm like trepidatious. That's how I feel right now. Like, yay, you're going to drink something really bitter on video.
So as you know, I like nourishing herbal infusions, right? And when I had David on my show, I was like, why don't people drink dandelion nourishing herbal infusion? You hear about all the other ones. And I've researched myself. I was like, am I doing something dangerous by consuming this? So I kind of worried about it. I was like, I need to look into this more. And I asked David, who obviously is a very well-respected herbalist. He said it's totally fine. The only thing I could find about the downside of drinking dandelion leaf nourishing herbal infusion, do you know what it is?
Well, it's really freaking bitter.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a taste thing, but we're herbalists, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you know? Totally fine.
So we'll...
Does Mills want some too?
Yeah.
Amelia is smart. That's a lot of...
So we'll... You gotta finish it.
Okay, well, for people listening, Mason has just poured me a very inappropriately large wine glass full of this very bitter infusion, and he's got like he's got one finger, like half inch.
Well, it's your first time, so.
Cheers, my friend.
Cheers. It's pretty good.
You know what? That's not that bad.
Yeah. Honestly, the leaf itself was bitter, more bitter.
More bitter.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe helped.
Yeah, probably was.
You know what would be good with this is you put like just a little bit of salt in it. Because salt helps to kind of smooth out bitterness.
That's a good call. Pro tip from Rosalee, best-selling author.
I don't know that I would reach for this every day, but it's not as bad as I thought
Throw
it
it
was
in the
going to be.
rotation.
Not even sure about that, but
Okay.
it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
So I want to call out to the audience. Do you drink dandelion nourishing herbal infusion? Is there something I'm not thinking about? Yeah, I'm just genuinely curious because I never hear anyone ever talking about it. And it seems so silly because it's so abundant and available and nutritious. People talk about how nutritious dandelion leaves are, like, I don't know, probably more than spinach or kale. I mean, it's a very nutritionally dense food.
You know, I could see
food.
putting it like part of an infusion. You know, you mix this in with some oat straw.
Yeah, now we're talking.
Yeah, I
Cool.
think that could be good.
I like that.
I'm not going to drink all this.
I don't expect you to.
It is called pissenlit, so.
I do, like, it's, the energy of herbs is so interesting. I do feel like an amazing feeling in my head now. Yeah, I like dandelion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we could talk a little bit about the medicinal benefits of dandelion leaf. So it's popular as like a diuretic. I keep bringing up David, but I just re-listened to my interview with him, so it's kind of top of mind. But he used this term aquaretic. Have you heard that before?
No.
Okay, so he said So a diuretic is basically makes you pee, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in peeing, you're presumably depleting yourself of minerals,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So by the definition that I recall David saying was an aquaretic is when you're replacing the minerality in your body by consuming a diuretic herb. Does that make sense? So you're peeing out a lot of, like, say, potassium, but then you're net positive in potassium because the dandelion leaves contain so much of it. So I just heard him say that term, and I was like, it's a really cool term.
Yeah, that is cool.
Yeah.
Also, it makes me think of just like that dandelion like moves the waters of your body because it is, like we'll use it for edema that's non-complicated. We always want to rule out like heart disease. But you just have like stagnant fluids in the body. Dandelion's just going to help get everything moving again.
Okay. So moving up from the leaves, we got the stem, and I have almost zero experience with the stem.
You're talking about the flower stem.
Yes, thank you again. Yes. Okay. Not the leaf stem, which we know is now high in anthocyanins.
If it's chicory.
If it's chicory, exactly. Oh, I should point out, we got a baggie of dried green dandelion. Man, this was like $2.80 an ounce. So you can make a nourishing herbal infusion for pretty cheap, and that was from the grocery store. So the flower stem, hollow, contains a milky sap, latex of some sort, which I've heard. I've never tested this, but you could dab it on some warts, and it's effective. I don't know. Is that true?
I've heard that too.
Okay.
I heard you have to be very persistent. It's not a one-time deal, so it's kind of like
Tonic.
a daily thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So besides that, I know that it contains some bitter compounds. As far as like edibility, when I was interviewing Brigitte Mars, she said that she learned, I can't remember where she learned it from, but people will like parboil it, and then a bunch of stems, and then saute it with some like olive oil, salt, and pepper, and kind of have like noodles, which I thought was really fun.
I really want to try that.
Yeah, totally.
I'm uncertain of whether that's going to be good or not, but I want to try it anyway.
Yeah. I wish it was springtime right now.
Yeah.
Next year.
Okay, let's do
on
it.
our accountability buddy list, we'll make some dandelion stem noodles. That'd be sweet.
Okay.
Anything else you want to say about the stem? I don't have much of a spiel on that.
Yeah.
But then going up to the flower head, mini flowers. There's countless things you could do with that. The stereotypical thing is like dandelion fritters, right? People make dandelion wine.
Have you had dandelion fritters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
like
not sure because you hadn't had dandy blends. So
herbalist rite of passage. No, I've had the fritters. I don't remember when or where, but it's definitely happened. So dandelion wine, which I know. Do you have any stories about that? Because I know you and Xavier make it with like the mead or something.
Yeah. It's been a couple of years since we've made it, but when the dandelions just go all out, and kind of for us, it's like late April, and the flowers are just everywhere. Harvest those flowers. You get rid of the bracts because they're a little bit bitter on the back end. And just give that a fermentation with some honey, and it's lovely. It's really fun to make it in the springtime, and then the tradition I was always taught is then you open up the bottle in the winter solstice, and so it's like this like bringing in the sunshine.
I love that.
So that's nice.
Cool. So I actually bought a bottle of wildflower beer.
Ale.
Yeah,
it's like elevated to call it ale, I think.
From Block 15. They're a local brewery. Local to Oregon, at least. I want to say they're in Bend. But, so this wild ale with wild flowers, haven't tried it yet, but presumably it has dandelion flowers because they said they've used it before. But I'm just interested to try it. Do you want to try it out?
Yeah, let's try it out.
Cool. I've also heard dandelion flowers are high in something called lutein.
Great for the eyes.
Oh my gosh. This is not going to work. There we go.
Okay.
Now we're talking. I was struggling. Okay.
The flowers are so fun to work with in so many ways. I always
Ooh, that is a live beer.
Ooh. My experience is that the dandelion flowers bring joy. I think they do just looking at them, like they're just yellow and joyful and bright, but like actually working with them is pretty fun.
That smells good.
Okay. All right. Well, for those of you listening, I have now gotten an inappropriately little part of ale while Mason has got the bulk of the ale. Okay. Well,
It's still early. I'm just going to take a little sippy poo, but It's like a sour.
It's a sour ale. That's lovely.
It's really good.
Yeah. Can I have the bottle over here?
Yes. Yeah, that's pretty tasty. I know you're a sour person.
I do like sour ales, yeah.
Yeah, so anything else you want to say about the flowers?
I do have something that might sound self-promotional. I don't mean it to be, but
Let's hear it. We're here for it. It was your show.
it was kind of a surprise to me when Emily and Han and I published Wild Remedies, my second book. There was a dandelion flower maple syrup cake, and that was that was the most popular recipe of the whole thing. People got really into that, and so that was pretty fun. I felt like hundreds of people made that recipe, and I honestly think it was just like the joy of the flowers. Like people want to play with them, and it's in the springtime when they're just everywhere. It's a really fun thing. It's crazy to think how many people see the flowers and want to spray them, and how many people see the flowers and want to be joyful.
It's disturbing.
Yeah.
The former part, not
yeah.
the latter part. Yeah, I almost forgot about this part, but back when I worked at Mountain Rose Herbs, I want to say my coworker Aaron had this recipe for pickled dandelion buds.
Aaron McIntosh.
Who
is also a Tori Amos fan.
That's right. Tori who? Okay. But that was really good. I remember it had apple cider vinegar, tamari, maybe some honey. Mm-hmm. And then you and I were looking up some recipes the other day, or maybe it was just me, but they're basically like dandelion capers. Mm-hmm. Because that's what a caper is, right? It's the bud of some plant. Yeah. I don't actually know which plant it is, but there's so many different things you could do with the dandelion. So versatile, so lovely. And in this phenomenal book from best-selling author Rosalee de la Forêt and her good friend Emily Hahn, there's a fermented dandelion buds and radishes. Mm-hmm. That sounds nice.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
So you could pick up these two books at a local bookstore near you.
Thanks, Mason.
I was going to talk to you I was going to start interviewing you, but that's inappropriate. So
yeah.
We'll save it for next time. So the last thing I'll say about the flowering heads is actually when it's in seed. This is another thing I learned from Brigitte Mars, which is another thing that I don't know if she's dabbled in yet or not, but I think she heard about it. I also haven't dabbled in this yet. But she talked about you could potentially make dandelion seed microgreens by sprouting them, which I thought was just a brilliant way that you could experiment with the plant. So have you ever heard that before?
I haven't heard that, but I was reminded that I learned from Cascade Anderson Geller. I remember, it's just I thought I knew dandelion, and I'm on a plant walk with her, but I mean, she would just blow my mind all the time. But she said, oh yeah, you could just kind of gather up the seed heads and hold all the little parachutes, together, and then you can just kind of eat the seeds. And she's like, very high in protein. And I was kind of like, whoa, it never would have occurred to me to do that. But one of my favorite things in the springtime is we have pine siskins, birds. Mm-hmm. They're these little small birds, and sparrows will do this too, but they'll come into the lawn and they will eat those seeds off the dandelions. And I love watching that. It's just so sweet.
I'm going to have to try that microgreen thing sometime.
Yeah, we'll put it on our accountability
there
list.
You go. There you go. Cool. That's kind of, what I wanted to go over as far as the botany and the edibility. Then we could kind of briefly run down certain safety precautions,
that's a good idea.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
As I mentioned earlier, maybe I didn't, but positive ID on any harvesting of plants is incredibly important. Just be sure you have a positive identification. I did want to say with dandelion, it's incredibly important to know where you're harvesting because you don't really know who's spraying, who's not. Even if someone doesn't have a sign up, that doesn't mean, there hasn't been, pesticide sprayed there or whatever. But most of all, I want to point folks in the direction of my herbal mentor, Howie Brownstein, on his website. He has the wild crafting checklist at botanicalstudies.net. And there's maybe 19 or 20 different bullet points on what you should go over before harvesting any plant, which I love. And they go in depth on that in their course. But I pulled 4 from his list that I thought were particularly important for dandelion. Well, do you have a positive identification? Is the stand away from roads and trails? Is there any chemical contamination? Is there any natural contamination? And of course, you could go through the whole list with every plant if you want, but those are, I think,
You're basically talking dog shit right now.
dog shit, dog pee, yeah, pesticides, and something, that herbalist Shayna Lipner-Grover down in SoCal. But one of the things that Shayna teaches is building relationships with organic farms. And it's actually a cool way to build community and harvest clean plants, because I bet you a lot of these farms would prefer to get rid of some of their dandelions.
Yeah,
and it's a way to get a nice, clean herbal, resource. So I don't know if you have any thoughts on that.
I love the ones you chose. I often like to teach too with dandelion that sometimes, because it's not a rare exotic plant, we can still, maybe it's easy to feel like we're like entitled to taking them. I think dandelion still offers a beautiful opportunity to practice mindset and reciprocity and thankfulness and gratitude. So just because it's common doesn't mean that it's like ours for the taking.
Totally.
It's still a time for us to be thankful and joyful with the dandelion as well.
That's such a classic. When you get into herbalism, you make way too much tincture.
Yeah. Way too much everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then you kind of learn, but that's a good point.
Yeah.
Exactly. Have some respect. So.
Yeah. Well, have we covered everything you wanted to cover about dandelion? Is there anything else you'd like to leave us with?
Yeah, I guess, I started with a story. I'll kind of end with a story. And one time when I was traveling across the country, I visited an RV park. And it was interesting because this was an RV park. It's not where people lived full time. It's just where people come and go. And I was walking around the RV park and I saw this person, presumably they were passing by just like I was. And it was in the morning and they were outside with one of those Roundup, backpacks or whatever. And they're spraying and killing dandelions on the front porch of their RV that they don't even live at. And they had such disdain for this beautiful healing plant that they were just killing it, poisoning the earth and poisoning the animals around. And I don't know. I just wish that we as a society, I think herbalists kind of have it covered, but I wish we as a society kind of started, I don't know, started living a little bit more in tune with our natural environment and not demonizing plants because they're quote unquote ugly. I don't know. It really ticked me off to see that. I low-key wanted to go over there and kind of talk to them about it, but I kind of cowered away from that. But I don't know. What do you all do when you see ridiculous stuff like that? I don't know. But yeah, I'm hopeful that as herbal medicine becomes more popular, I just saw Simon Mills was on the Diary of a CEO podcast, which is the second largest podcast in the world. And here's this well-respected, revered herbalist, spreading the good word of herbalism and herbal medicine. And I just hope with each step like that, people become more and more aware that these plants are not our enemies. They're things that we can have relationships with, utilize in our everyday life for healing for ourselves, for our community. And yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, that's an interesting story. I'm thinking about different iterations of my life. If I was 20 years old, I would have probably marched over there and been well, you shouldn't do that. And I would have been angry and upset and probably kind of hostile. Now this is kind of the joy of dandelion pesto. I think it's such a radical act to make dandelion pesto or any other of the beautiful dandelion things that we've been talking about today and bring that to potlucks and start a conversation. Because I bet that person thinks that they're doing the greater good. They're actually helping out. They're oh, I'm going to do my part and get rid of these plants. It's they're doing the world a favor. And I can see again, I have to own this because I was a very charged activist young 20-year-old that I would have been gone over there to just tell them my peace of mind, and it would have been such a clash to their reality that I'm guessing, obviously it's all guesswork, but that they might not have heard me in that situation. But there's something about the sideline step and just be just kind of oh, did you know you can eat that? How many people whose minds are just waiting to be changed, you know? So I like the dandelion pesto, and it just opens up a conversation, of how amazing this plant is, or the dandelion flower cake, just all of that. So
Your answer was a lot more peaceful. Mine came more from anger. I like that. That's good. Yeah.
Well, if I'd seen it, I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard this story before.
Yeah.
And I've had chance to like sit on it.
Sure.
I have also like put my foot in my mouth a lot. I did that not too long ago. Somebody came over to our house and I have mullein growing, and they like said some negative things about mullein, and we're like, why don't you pull that? And just were like very upset that I had mullein in my yard, and I just like, bam, I was so in it. And afterwards I was like, oh my gosh, like why did I react? So I'm still reactive sometimes, and I wished I hadn't in that moment.
I love the pesto example. It's like that could be their gateway herb for them as well, and it's kind of like spiritually cliche, but it just shows how much more powerful love is transforming people than like hate and berating people and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna remember that next time.
Yeah.
Here, want some pesto?
Yeah.
Made with that plant.
Yeah. It's better without pesticides, FYI.
Oh yeah, not poisoning yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thanks for sharing so much about dandelion. I love this plant. You love this plant. Yeah. So many people love this plant. I feel like we can't talk about this plant enough, too. Like
it's been on your show before, at least once. I know that.
Yeah. Mark Williams came and talked about dandelion.
Cool. Nice.
Yeah. But it is a plant that's just, I don't know. Sometimes I think I could be an herbalist who like only works with one plant, and dandelion could be that plant. I mean,
Totally.
there's just so much richness there, and so much knowing. I mean, today this is my first how many times have I worked with dandelion, and this is my first full dandelion leaf infusion.
I know.
I've never had that before, so thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, as your friend, I'm kind of privy to some projects you have going on, so I'm pretty excited for you to share those. Just herbal things that are bubbling up for you right now.
Totally. I already forgot what I was going to talk about.
Do you want me to tell you?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, I think I know one of them, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to hear about your book.
Cool. Yeah, so just like everything else in my life, I sit on things forever, and I have to like work the nerve up to do it. It's one of those things where it's like you don't want to die with regrets, so you succumb to the power of the inspiration, and you just start moving forward with it, one foot in front of the other. And basically, that's what this book is, or it's going to be. I want to call it The Art of Frugal Nutrition, which HerbRally actually does have a free course on it as of now. We call it an ever-expanding course, free of charge, sliding scale actually. But yeah, herbrally.com/frugal nutrition. You could learn more about it there. But really, this concept has always lived in my head as a book. And I was like, you know what, maybe I'll just start as a course and get the ball rolling. That was years ago. And just the other day, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start writing it. Technically, I have been reached out by publishers, or a publisher, and still deciding on that route. But as of now, at least I'm getting the wheels turning. And the premise is going to be eating healthy on a budget. I mean, it's pretty basic in that regard. I know there's a million books out there like that, but I think I have a unique take.
You do.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of really. I want it to be story driven. I want it to also involve the community a lot, and obviously we'll talk about nourishing herbal infusions. So I call it herbal adjacent. But really, this is just another one of those projects where I feel like I have to do this, and so you hold me accountable. You hold me accountable, and yeah. Yeah, it's even nerve-wracking talking about it, but yeah, thanks for bringing it up.
Yeah, it's good. Talk about it.
Yeah,
it's going to be really fun to see it evolve.
Even if I write, a couple hours a week, like as long as I'm working towards it, yeah, I'll be happy with that. So,
yeah, awesome. Looking forward to that.
Thanks.
We mentioned Schoolhouse, but I feel like I just want to mention it again.
Okay.
Like you've got some ideas for new teachers coming up, and.
Yep.
One of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a really great resource, and that's kind of a big part. Like you said, it keeps the lights on at HerbRally, and it's a really great place to hear from different herbalists, support different herbalists.
Totally.
Yeah. So that's mentioned. And again, you were very generous giving a discount code. We would mention that again.
Totally, yeah. So herbrally.com/schoolhouse, you could learn more and register there. And if you use coupon code Rosalee, you could get your first 30 days for free. Check out behind the scenes. As of now, I want to say we have 60 plus classes in there with a wide range of teachers. I don't even know how many teachers are in there. Probably like 30, something like that. But yeah, it's just the goal is to add new classes all the time. I've been going through some life changes the past few months, and also moving back here. So it's been a little stagnant, still released a couple recently, but the goal is to get that up and running even more so and just continually add to the library and stuff like that. Oh, and I guess dental herbalism too.
That was the next thing, yeah. I'm really excited for this.
So yeah, we're gonna produce a one-off outside of the HerbRally Schoolhouse, a course on herbs for dental health, and we're going to be working with my good friend Kyle Denton from Tippecanoe Herbs, who's also Herbalist Hour alum. He's been on the show. We've done an herb shop tour with him on our YouTube channel, so check out his work at Tippecanoe Herbs. He's awesome.
He was just on my show.
That's right. Yeah,
he
talked about St. John's
wort.
Yeah. Or as he likes to call it, solstice wort, which I love.
Yeah,
because it blooms on the solstice.
Yeah.
According to Kyle.
I really like that.
Probably does.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, I like that. Now, everyone needs to do it, so I don't have to say solstice wort, which other people call St. John's wort.
Right, or St. John's wort, or totally. But Kyle's awesome, and he was in the dental industry for over a decade. So, and he's a brilliant herbalist. So he's going to combine all this together. Hopefully, we're planning a February launch for that. So
cool.
Yeah.
Should we talk about our project?
Sure. Yeah, totally.
Cool.
You want to lead it off?
Sure. So we have numerous ideas of like collaborating together, and this one is like really starting to take shape. We're going to do a collaborative podcast.
Yeah.
Kind of a sidestep of our other podcasts, and it's going to be called Herbalist After Hours, and that's kind of the vibe of it, is like herbalists after hours, and that it's not going to be necessarily like herbal learning intensive, but it's like who is our community, how are people, like, I don't know, just like real people, real lives, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's just going to be fun.
That's a big part of it, actually.
The intent is to have fun with our herbalist pals, get to know a little bit more about them behind the scenes, because like people sometimes say, Mason, do you like plants or people more? And I think it's kind of a funny question. It's probably asked in jest too, but I'm always like, I like plant people, like I love the herbal community. I have since day one. Why? Because mostly they're funny, eclectic, kind, caring, and we get to, with this project, expose that, as opposed to, I think obviously there's a time and place to go in depth on these herbs, but I really want to showcase what amazing people these are. So,
yeah, we're going to do those in person. We're going to go to herb fairs and conferences together, do it in person. So yeah, it's going to be a new adventure. Totally. I'm excited for it.
Yep. So yeah, we got some interviews scheduled for International Herb Symposium, Great Lakes Herb Fair, and then we've got lots of other adventures planned. So,
train rides, I don't know.
Yep. So yes, exactly. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a good one. But yeah. So hopefully, I think the goal is to release one per month, starting whenever, and then they'll be on both of our YouTube feeds and our podcast feeds. So check it out.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you feel ready for our last question?
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. All right. Well, I wrote a last question for you specifically.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was just like reflecting on you and like your herbal path, and you've created a very unique herbal path for yourself. There's kind of like these traditional roles of being a clinical herbalist, or maybe a medicinal herb grower, or a medicine maker, a teacher, or something. So there's kind of these traditional roles, but you forged your own path. And I'm curious about that in kind of a couple different ways. Like, one, how do you define herbalism? And do you have any words of advice for someone who is also maybe like wanting to forge their own path within this?
Cool. So yeah, I think I'll tackle the second part of that first, and then I'll kind of define what an herbalist, in my opinion, is.
Sure.
So, because I think it'll lead nicely into that. But don't be like me. Don't sit on an idea for years on end and wait. I mean, you could do that if you want, but it's always best just to take the plunge. And I think the plunge is getting yourself in the vicinity of the type of work you want to do. So if you are really into lab equipment and stuff like that, see if you could go and get a job at an herb company in the lab. And there's countless answers to this. You could go work on an herb farm, but just get in the general vicinity of where you want to be, hone your craft, learn from the people that are doing that work, and work your way towards that. And if you're kind of a little fuzzy on where you want to be, I think that inside that there's something that's calling you. I would not settle for something that's peripherally related. I would go as specific as possible and work your way towards that. It's exactly what I did with Mountain Rose Herbs. I had this pull. Actually, before I worked at Mountain Rose Herbs, it was just, I want to be in herbalism. Oh, and here's this company that's moving into town. I was like, I'm going to work there. So I think if you start very broad and get more and more specific, your heart's going to kind of call you, and just follow that lead. I call it following the golden thread. I actually got that from Stephen Buhner, and I don't even know if I'm quoting it correctly, but that's how I interpret it as. My life is following the golden thread, following my heart, seeing where the path kind of takes me, and take risks. I mean, before I worked at Mountain Rose Herbs, I had a reasonably paying job with great benefits, and I worked with all my friends, and I was like, I'm going to go start at the bottom at this company, and that felt like a big risk, but it changed my life for the better. I mean, big time. I can't even explain it. And then, making the leap from Mountain Rose Herbs to HerbRally full time, and so there's going to be risk involved. There's going to be uncomfortability. You might get some weird looks from your family and friends, but I think it's incredibly important. So I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, no, I like that. I feel like I followed the golden thread, and I would add to that as you keep going from one thing to the next. You know, it doesn't have to be the ear forever thing. Like I used to make products and sell at the farmers market. Yeah, I did that for a couple of years, and it was very clear that was not my gift. But I'm so grateful for the experience of it. Yeah. Because I do have that experience that I can share with others and my students now, and so it's kind of, I like that, get in the periphery, try things out, play around. Yeah, keep following the golden thread.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, as far as defining herbalist, you're an herbalist. You're an herbalist. Mills, you're an herbalist. But I had this, I was telling you before bed last night, I was kind of, you kind of think about questions, and then sometimes when you're going to bed, things come to you. And I never thought about it this way. I've heard this explanation a lot as far as what makes you an herbalist. And for the first time, and I'm sure people have kind of answered in this way, but this is kind of what came to me. So I play basketball a lot. It's always been a life passion of mine. And if someone came up to me and were like, Mason, you're not in the NBA, so you're not a basketball player. I'm like, that seems kind of silly when you say it that way, doesn't it? Or I play chess obsessively every day. But I'm not Magnus Carlsen. I'm not getting paid to play chess, but I would still consider myself a chess player. I do herbal things every day. Actually, my whole life revolves around herbalism. So I do the practice of herbalism. I'm an herbalist by the sheer fact. You don't even need to be paid to do herbalism. It doesn't need to be a profession. It's literally just a practice. It's you building relationships with the plants around you, the fungi around you, nature around you, building a relationship with the plants, utilizing it for your own personal nourishment and nourishing it for the community around you. That's what being an herbalist is. It's clinical herbalist is an herbalist. Farmer's an herbalist. The person who's making tea every day, utilizing these medicines, these plants, that makes you an herbalist.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There have been times where you said something I don't know, oh, I'm not a real herbalist. And my response to you has always been dude, if you're not an herbalist, I'm not an herbalist. And then this is a major problem because this is my identity. So
I know.
I like this approach to it.
I mean, it makes so much sense. I don't know. I just love that. I don't have to be in the NBA to be a basketball player. Yeah. So it really comes down to a practice. And I think if you think otherwise, if you disagree with me, well, it's totally fine to disagree with me, but I just don't want the disagreement to come out of elitism or something like that. So
that's not my crowd.
Thanks, crowd. But I don't know. I just love it, and it'll forever be a part of my life, and I'm so thankful for it.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see how things continue to evolve. Keep seeing your ideas coming out, and excited to work on projects with you.
Yeah, totally.
Thanks for helping me make this leap of doing it in person.
Absolutely.
It's fun to do this. Yeah. Thanks for bringing all these goodies too.
Absolutely.
Your pouring was not really great.
A little off, yeah.
But it's been really fun. Thanks again for coming back. Thanks for sharing dandelion wisdom. And thanks for being on the show again.
Thanks for having me, and thanks to all y'all for tuning in. Cool.
Cool.
Yow!
Thanks so much for listening. You can download the illustrated dandelion spice tea recipe card from today's episode by heading over to herbswithrosaleepodcast.com or check out the show notes. And if you're not already subscribed to this podcast, I'd love to have you a part of this herbal community so I can deliver even more herbal goodies your way. This week's student spotlight is on Jessie Brill in New South Wales, Australia. Jessie is a student in both the Herbal Energetics course and Cooling Inflammation, and her reflections are thoughtful, earthy, and full of insight. Jessie's connection with the plants is rooted in a life lived close to the land. As a homesteader and practicing astrologer, she brings practical creativity to her studies, like making thyme and lavender vinegar cleaner or using cayenne oil for shoulder pain. Her reflections invite us all to listen more closely to the plants and to ourselves. It's been a pleasure to have you in the school, Jessie. Okay, you've made it to the end of the show, which means you get your very own gold star and this herbal tidbit. Dandelions may be common, but they hold so much quiet magic. Take their fluffy seed head. Turns out they've been quietly rewriting the rules of physics. So for years, researchers assumed those little seed head parachutes worked the same way as, a parachute, right? But when scientists at the University of Edinburgh put dandelion seeds in a wind tunnel, they discovered something completely new. A kind of airflow that had only been imagined in theory and never seen in the real world. So what happens is each dandelion seed creates its tiny separated vortex ring. So this is a stable ring of swirling air that hovers right above the parachute. So it's like the seed is carrying around its own invisible halo of wind. And this hidden vortex basically slows the seed's fall and lets it drift on the breeze for miles, 4 times more efficiently than if it had a solid parachute. So what looks like a little fragile puffball in your garden is actually this natural aeronautical engineer pulling off a feat of physics that scientists didn't even think was possible. The dandelion, it's not just common, it's quietly expanding the very limits of what we know about the living world. It's like the dandelion has woven together engineering, magic, and immortality, all in one fragile, silvery sphere. Thanks for joining me on this adventure. I look forward to seeing you on the next.